Should you consider physical attraction when looking for a life partner? Hi, my name is Progress and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to be talking about physical attraction. Should you consider physical attraction as important when choosing a partner? Is physical attraction important when choosing a partner? Let's find out. Now, if you say that you want someone who is physically attractive, the response you often get is,
beauty fades with time.
Just focus on the character.
Just focus on the heart. Beauty is not going to matter in the long run.
Or as far as you have a good character, that is enough.
And I completely disagree, because why should you focus on just good character alone? Who will marry all the fine people that God created? Also, who says you can't find a physically attractive person who is God-fearing, who has a great personality as well in one body? Who also says that someone with a good character cannot change to become bad? And most times you hear such things from elders, preachers, and even Christians. And most times when Christians try to downplay the importance of physical attraction in a relationship, they quote the book of the Bible, Samuel chapter 16 from verse 6, where Samuel was instructed by God to anoint one of Jesse's sons as king. This is the story. Samuel was a prophet of God, and God instructed him to go and anoint one of the boys as king. Now, Samuel had no idea which of the boys God had chosen. So when he got to the house, he came to the first son, Eliab, who was tall and handsome, and immediately he thought, this must be the one that God has chosen as king. But then God told Samuel not to pay attention to physical appearance, stating that God does not judge people by their physical appearance but by the heart. Now, this is a part of the Bible that preachers and Christians quote to imply that physical attraction is not important in relationships or in choosing a partner, that people should instead focus only on the individual's heart or their personality, as God mentioned in that passage. And once again, I completely disagree, because who says you cannot find a physically attractive person who has a good heart and a great personality? Now, let's even unpack that part of the scripture, the same book of Samuel. Remember that God chose Saul as his anointed king. Now, go and read the description of Saul. In Samuel chapter 9, verse 2, the Bible mentions that Saul was very handsome and tall. In fact, he was the most handsome and tallest man in Israel at the time. Saul was a fine man. Did God choose him? Yes, he did. Example 2. In the same book of Samuel chapter 16, verse 12, in the same household of Jesse, after God rejected Eliab, which was a handsome guy, God then anointed David. Now, the question is, was David described as ugly? No. The Bible records that David was a handsome and healthy young man whose eyes sparkled. Do you understand what that means? His eyes sparkled. That was the description of David. However, God did not choose either Samuel or David solely because of their physical appearance. These examples I'm sharing are just to say that God does not hate physically attractive people, or God does not hate good-looking people. Because I don't understand why people tend to demonize good-looking people or make you look unserious when you say that you prioritize physical appearance when choosing a partner. And it's almost like fine people are reserved for evil things, or they are always assumed to have bad attributes, which is totally unfair. Because haven't we seen handsome men and women who are kind and have other great qualities? So please, and please, and please, I use God to beg you people, stop this habit of invalidating people's preferences or demonizing the beautiful creations of God. If your preference is tall, dark, and handsome, please go for it. It is very valid. If your choice is curvy and short, please go for it. God is not averse to good-looking people. In fact, God also calls good-looking people to serve him as priests, pastors, reverend sisters, reverend fathers, evangelists, and the rest. And of course, to serve him as husbands and wife as well. So choosing a handsome husband or a beautiful wife is not a sin, it's not a crime, it's not a problem. I don't know why people tend to demonize this thing. It doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, you can find a beautiful partner with a good heart. And I have to say that I strongly believe that it is the will of God for you to marry someone that you find physically attractive, especially if physical attraction is something that you consider as an important characteristic when choosing a partner. It is my belief that you should be physically attracted to whoever you choose to spend the rest of your life with. Now, it is not based on people's standard, but based on your standard. It could be that you like their eyes, it could be their legs, it could be their height, it could be their other physical features. And I genuinely believe that God made them that way because he knew that you will find those attributes in them attractive. Remember, as they say, beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. Because for me, I believe that forever is too long to be managing someone. Forever is too long to not be happy with the choice that you make. Therefore, you should like what you see when you look at your partner. And on a final note, God will never wish for you to marry what you hate.